to all-time highs. That's like under 8%. That's insane. Like from the low, right? And if you guys were watching the channel, practicing the 200 SMA, the 4x4 DCA strategy, can't give you guys financial advice, but and I've said this a lot of times because we don't win them all. For the Dow Jones specifically, we did not catch it like we caught the Nasdaq, like we caught the S&P 500. But we did glance at it. We came really close to it. We were calling out for the longest time, over 20 years of price data, using the opinion of the charts, not ours. We were calling for a long time for the floor action to take place, to be somewhere down here. Let me change our views here so it's a little bit easier for everybody. We were calling this zone, and I leave things up there to stay relevant for a long time because that's the only way to do myself and everybody else justice. And sometimes you got to lay in your bed of dirt when you dig that grave. But we were calling the flooring action should take place somewhere around here. That was 20 years of price data telling us not exactly where the bottom is, but where it should be around. And we did come down to there and glance at it before pulling away. We definitely did do that. So if you were just eyeballing here with your larger portion of capital in your profile, or your portfolio, I should say, and you were just slowly practicing proper risk management and entering in around this area, you would have done extremely well. Now, I didn't because I was waiting for, I got so honed in on this and I was like, no, I want to get right before, right underneath and stuff like that, my 4x4 DCA strategy. So I didn't really hit this very well. But let me show you guys something else here, right? The NASDAQ, this was our old point. We were pointing it out right here. We did it three times with double-digit gains percent-wise on the charts. Three times. If you come up to the 200 SMA, got rejected because the trend is a friend until it's not, right? Three times. And right now, from these positions, using a 4x4 DCA strategy combined with our 200 SMA strategy to enter in, guys, you are in literally because you would have caught the bottom. You would have caught the bottom, right? You were literally in the most profit you ever could have been in on this position ever. And you're up right around 44%. Amazing times. But to kind of go back into that perspective, like let me just show you guys again, take all of this away from where we are right now to all-time highs. I'm just guesstimating, right? I'm not getting like super in detail, guys. Like all-time highs right there. We're 9%, like under 10% away from all-time highs. That's insane. All we basically did, especially for the NASDAQ, look at this, guys. Corona dump here, large amounts inflation, like money printing. We pumped in all this like extra liquidity, fantasy money, right? We put in the most money ever printed at one time. All we did was go from the Corona high when it and took the death slide, and we reset ourselves basically, right? Not exactly, but that's basically we came down close to the Corona high and reset ourselves before taking off again. Insane. Insane. Timmy, what do you have like? Have you been recognizing this and looking at that like over all this past year and a half?
I've been looking at it for sure.
Did you participate in it?
Yeah. I mean, a bit. I have a Webull account, I play around with, and then
That's my favorite platform as well. I use Webull. I like.
Yeah,
Webull.
weirdly, it's definitely it seemed like a sketchy Chinese like
That's probably
knockoff
what's my favorite.
Robinhood at first, but then I was like, wait, no, this is actually almost the vibe I'm used to in crypto. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about traditional markets, to be honest, because mainly because of the quantitative easing and inflation, and much like what I say about most of crypto, this might be what the chart looks like, but I wouldn't necessarily say the actual evaluation is accurate.
So here,
Could
okay,
go either way.
to go into your point, we said this during our live stream the other day. So this is a bit of a stretch. Like, admittingly, this is a bit of a stretch, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there because I like to do these kind of things and kind of speculate. I'm a little bit of a degen. I'm conservative degen, but I still like to play around with my speculations. Now, and this is just for the Nasdaq, but just for reference, we're on the daily time frame, guys. What's up, by the way, Ryu? I just want to put this out there, food for thought for people that digest, right? Because I'm more of a fundamentalist than I am a technical analysis, but I love to see things on the charts that kind of like reinforce my fundamental thesis on what's happening out there, what possibly could happen. But just on the Nasdaq right now, on the daily time frame, I see something with where we are right now on the charts previously that could repeat itself on a larger scale. Do you see it, Timmy? And it has everything to do with fundamentals. So like what you were saying with the larger macro fundamental landscape.
I'm not sure if my head's in the same place as you, but are you
Probably
thinking
not,
like
because I'm
massive,
like on
massive
coffee.
pullback, massive pullback from war, the same way we had one from COVID?
Who knows, right? Who knows? But I like, where are you going with this? Okay,
But
here we go.
the general setup of like, yeah, if you look, right above where 2020 is on your x-axis, right before the COVID dip, you see that similar sort of
Right. Okay.
parabolic.
Let me build on your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm looking right here.
Yes.
This is
Yep.
what I'm looking at
Yep.
right
And also,
here.
I'm also adding the extension after it, which kind of has a parabolic curve to it.
Yeah. And again,
Yep.
we're extrapolating. We're totally like we're just playing with shit right now. Like honestly, guys. So like keep that in mind, right?
That's all any market analysis is.
Right.
Sure.
Like who knows? Nobody knows, right? But
yeah,
I can take into account.
We are on the same page, actually, for sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure, but
I can take into account what's happening out there fundamentally, and I know I have a pretty good understanding about the economies on a larger scale, right? Like you can kind of get lost in crossing your wires when you look at any general economy. Like it doesn't matter if you're in the U.S., it doesn't matter Japanese, China, whatever. Like because then you start giving like your own justifications for your position on where you stay and where you reside and what your fiat holdings is and stuff like that. You have to look at the markets. Especially if you fancy yourself as an investor on, larger time frames. I think if you're an investor, it should be no less than 3 years. I like to think in decades terms, but like you got to think about like the DXY, the dollar, the fundamental landscape, and how everything's changing because it is all changing on a global scale. Here's what I'm looking at right now for the Nasdaq. We went from this high, right? We had this sell off back here in 2018. We came back up to basically a little over that high, just like, mind you, where we are right now, coming back up after a humongous sell off, could possibly lead up to that high.
Honestly,
huge
if
cup.
You ignore that top that's above your white line there, because it almost like, well, it's almost identical if you were to ignore that top and just look at where your white line starts and then that second, where's that price line at? Around.
Well, I'm looking, my white line starts here because these are, there's so much I can get into this. Like people got to understand. I say this all the time too. I absolutely get frustrated when people get these like blinders on about having exact measurements on their patterns. Because like that's not how life is. Life is a bunch of gray. Life is like it's averages, and it's not like you start at A, you end at Z. Like there's all the rest of the alphabets in between. Like so, you have to take all of the. It's all averages, right? And so I just took the averages from here. Let me zoom in on this a little bit, so it's a little bit easier. And I'm sorry, guys, I know I got a bunch of messes here. So I took averages between this high, the supports here, right? This rejection, and you can see it doesn't even sit on this high here, nor does it sit on the bottom of all of these. An average, right? It's all math. It's all averages. But that's why that line starts there and not from the high here. That's why all of my lines are a little bit off a little bit, because the markets are always a little bit off. And so I want to adjust and account for any of that that thread. I call it threading through of support and a resistance at all times. Like, right, I'm not trying to hit the exact bottom. I'm trying to just land somewhere in the field that doesn't have a lot of trees for me to break my legs.
The best like advice or tip I've ever heard, just in a very general broad sense for that kind of thing, is someone once, it was on like some trading view person I followed who did videos. He was like, stop using lines as often and start using rectangles, or make your lines thicker. Like just give yourself a bit of padding for the area you're looking for.
Make your lines thicker for sure. Stop using the first option. Like make your line thick. I love it. But no, so let's go back, right? Like, so again, I see this. The first thing I noticed, I was like, oh, this looks like a humongous cup. What happens after a cup? Well, fucking, we're gonna probably make a handle. Now, if, like what I always tell people, if you have an understanding on how the markets work, and if you're truly fancying yourself as an investor, you guys got to appreciate. And in fact, you have to actually somewhat anticipate and encourage sellers to have more buyers. So you got to wait for the pullbacks. You got to encourage that dip, that sell pressure to come in, because if we see this huge rally here, and like let's be honest, from here, that's not a lot of time. From this low here to where we are right now, that's 195 days with 43% gains on the chart. That's a huge rally in such a short amount of time. We need, for us to sustain price appreciation, we need to have a pretty decent dip back down in order for us to keep having more buyers, more liquidity coming into the market. Like, right? Like we need to have sellers to have more buyers, unless everybody's an idiot and they just buy green candles. I'm not an idiot. I practice proper risk management. I'd like to see selling pressure. So if we actually do, and I'm just extrapolating out there, I'm throwing it out there again. I don't know. Admittingly, this is just things that I've seen, and things don't necessarily repeat themselves, but rhyme. This could be where the 200 SMA, we cut below the 200 SMA here, got above it, come back down and retest the 200 SMA, and look how this plans out. Look at this all plays out here. Right? The 200 SMA with some time is going to be coming up. It's not like it's just the price action cutting back down and coming to it. It's both. It's price action coming down to it, 200 SMA coming up to it, meeting and converging. The way that cup and handles are, again, you don't have to be exact, but it can be somewhat close to. The way that cup and handles are is half of the distance of the length of the cup here. So like I'm just guessing too, by the way. It'd be somewhere around here. Let me bring up my marker so it's easier. Oops, wrong one. So if this, right, if we're planning, or let's just say right here, let's just go out here. It's going to take us time to get up to that high. Let's just say that's where it's at right there, right? So our
I don't know why,
handle
but
is going to look like this.
I really think your white line at the top there should be the real top.
I'm just giving an example.
True, absolutely.
Again, that's where I'm marking all the time and watching, but I'm just throwing it out there, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say, so like half of the distance is going to be somewhere around here, and
so
then
right
half
around
of the
New
depth
Year's, you might get a
well.
buy-in up.
Yeah, half of the depth as well. So it's half and half, right? Half the length, half the depth. That's what normal people want to see when it comes to the cup and handle patterns, for it to be a truly strong cup and handle pattern. You can't have a cup and handle pattern that has like a dinky handle like that, where that's try holding a teacup that has a dinky handle. It doesn't work, right? Like it's just, so it's funny, but it's true. But so that's what I'm looking at. And so again, if we come up to here, I'm telling you guys right now, or come up to the white line, anywhere, a little bit above it, whatever, we thread through it, we come up above it or whatever. Guys, I want you guys to be prepared. For the people that watch this channel, that follow us on Twitter, again, not financial advice, but I do want you guys to be prepared for the likelihood of sell pressure to come in to fulfill this pattern. It could definitely happen. And I'm telling you right now, if that happens, everybody that's bearish and their mama is going to come out of the woodworks and tell you their narrative, tell you their thoughts about how they were so wrong and we were all idiots and this and that. It's not over though until the fat lady sings, not to body shame. But like if it comes down here, that's bullish. You got to reverse your thinking as an investor, especially if you're long-terming, right? You know how many people are going to get shook when this happens here, and they're probably going to sell any of these positions that they took here, maybe. And sure, different strokes, different folks. You got to do you. I don't know what your position is in life. I don't know what your struggles are. If you have to protect your capital, I'm always for that. But there's going to be many people that sell that position that they got into somewhere around here, like, from the top of that bottom of the handle, just because that loudness of the bearish narrative is going to come out and be in full effect. Everybody's recession. It was all just a fake out. Blah, 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 blah. Is going to happen. It's not over. It's not over. In fact, we're just fulfilling what the market needs, what the market makers, what the whales need in order for them to continue going. You got to remember, you're fodder. That's what you are. You're me, everybody that watches the channel, I promise you, is all just tiny minnows swimming with the whales. You got to accept that. And whales eat up and or down. They will drive. They're like killer whales. They will drive you in packs up and it force you back down. They don't care how they eat. It could be in the depths of the sea, it could be in the top. It don't matter. You could be sitting like some of the, you ever watch National Geographic where those freaking poor little seals are sitting on like what they think is protective, like floating pieces of ice, and then like they just knock over the freaking, that's so sad. But you could be that
An
guy thinking
analogy,
you're in
yeah.
UST and you're doing the right thing, and you're in, like we saw in Terra before, and the whales will come up, knock you off your fucking ice pad, and eat you. Like, so be ready for it. Anyway, I just wanted to put, I wanted to extrapolate, throw that out there, guys. Like, I'm already triple plus play, free and clear profits. I'm waiting again for underneath the 200 SMA using my 4x4 DCA strategy. Again, for that to happen, it needs to come underneath the 200 SMA and hold there for more than 10, 15 to 20 days is what I like. If that happens, the new zone for the low is going to be around here, 9,258 for the NASDAQ. I'm not deploying any of my real capital until it comes back there. It could take me a year, 2 years. It could take me a fucking decade. It really could. But like, I don't touch that stuff, and because I have rules of engagement. Now I'm sitting with free and clear profits, free and clear assets, and I've stacked my money. So again, like, I think it's just some food for thought. I think the play right now, if you've already made positions, is just to be patient. If you haven't and you're like getting FOMO because of CPI and all this other stuff, practice a really passive, conservative DCA strategy where you set it, forget it, don't even think about it. And it's not so much to where it's breaking your back every single time you DCA into it. Like, that would be my humble suggestion, not financial advice, but I wouldn't FOMO into anything right now. Anyway,
Chain
excuse me.
link.
Except for Chet.
Kidding. Not financial
I saw
advice.
here. I don't know who you responded to, but I saw just recently you're missing generational wealth with Link or something like that. And I was like,
I think someone was like, I think it was Don. He was like, I've only been buying
yeah.
BTC, ETH, and something. I
When
was
I
like, oh,
saw
you're
your
just
post, I was
begging
like,
for it, Don. Here I come.
I was laughing so hard when I saw that. But yeah, let's get into it a little bit more, guys. So that's what I'm seeing for the Dow Jones, Nasdaq, and again, guys, if you guys want to follow the channel, follow the channel. Like, again, we set these things here. These things have been on the chart for over like a year and a half, almost 2 years now. From when I was before I was even a Cosmos like focused streamer and stuff like that. It's been there for a while, and they're gonna be there. So if you guys want to see these levels again, definitely do so. If you guys want to know more about the 200 SMA strategy, the 4x4 DCA strategy, check out IBC Gang on YouTube. There's saved videos there in the playlist that explain to you guys like how I use those and why I use the 200 SMA and what it is actually. But yeah, so Dow Jones, I'm still looking at it down here. If it reverses, great. I don't know, right? So I'm looking at 25,496. NASDAQ is all the way down here. The Russell, again, I was thinking it needs to come back down and retest previous resistance and use it as a springboard of support and kind of go sideways before we carry on. The Russell is made up of smaller market cap stocks or options that are out there in these indexes in the legacy markets. So they're affected a lot differently than the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones. I think that the reason why they're affected and the way that they're affected, I look at the Russell as more of like a leading indicator when it comes to the indexes. So if the Russell moves, it's kind of like the first glance index, and then I'll look at everything else, because usually the Russell will move in one way 2 days before the other indexes. And so like right now, the way what I'm trying to get at is the Russell's up 1%, right? It's probably going to show the next day, tomorrow, and the next day that the Dow Jones, if they weren't moving off the CPI, today's kind of wonky. Like it would show like if the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones weren't up with the CPI and it was just kind of flat and the Russell was up 1%, that would show me 2 days in advance that probably the other indexes are going to run after, because
Right,
that's usually how it gets affected.
Let me pick your brain on a macro thought I've had for a while.
Sure.
I'm bearish on the Russell and any. I think that the growing trend of monopolization in capitalist countries is continuing. And so I think, like, if there's an investment I could do, it would probably be the difference between, like, SPX and Russell. Because I think I don't have too much to say this based on just anecdotal like feeling and knowing that monopolies are a thing. Like, did you see Microsoft just won its lawsuit against the FTC to acquire Activision Blizzard,
Yep.
which already had a lawsuit of those two merging because that was a monopoly issue, and now
Hmm.
Microsoft owns them. So when I think of like the Russell, I literally think of this is the index for the companies that are either going to get acquired or die.
Yep.
So it's not something I would invest in.
Yeah, it's
Individual things
you
within
can
it, I
find
might for
jewels
sure.
there. You
Yeah,
can definitely find. You can still find, but they're coming harder and harder. It's like it's because the analogy is so sticky. It's great, right? But it's like mom and pop stores or businesses, right? Like especially tech. It's that's how tech has always been. Like for most startup tech companies, their goal is to be bought by Facebook, by a larger tech company, by Apple and stuff. And that's literally the whole that's what Facebook, that's what Apple, that's what they all do is they absorb the mom and pop startups or the mom and pop businesses because they can. They have the capital, they have the customers, they have everything that you need. That is, I was literally just talking to Shroot about this the other day, but that's usually what the goal is, even for some of these options that get listed on the Russell and stuff like that, right? Like they're there, but their goal is not to actually. I don't want to say this for all of them, but like I'm being very serious when
I
I
was
say this too.
definitely talking in aggregate, like the Russell
Yeah,
itself, not necessarily everything within it. Yeah.
yeah. I understood that, but I agree. Like to kind of like put those two together though, like because that's how I look at it. And you're absolutely right. It's getting harder and harder for the Russell because of things like that. Like for the options and for the things that are in the Russell that seem interested. I'm not like I cover the Russell just because I don't really invest into the Russell. I cover it, but just because it kind of like gives me that front running.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm more in
I
the
mean,
Dow
there's a
Jones, the
million
Nasdaq,
different
and
like
SP.
crypto indices or various charts
Mhm.
or even just tokens that I would watch, and I wouldn't be invested in them, but they might be an indicator for other things. Or
Yeah, they're relevant
yeah,
because they're an indicator. Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
But no, I completely agree with you on that one. Speaking of the SP 500, like guys, oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful chart too. And we did 200 SMA strategy, 4x4 DCA strategy for over a year and a half. We were showing you guys these sections. Once the 200 SMA once the price action for the 200 SMA cut below and held for 10 to 50 to 20, I'm sorry, 15 to 20 days, we were calling out this section on the charts for your 4x4 DCA strategy. And you guys know how that goes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I hit it on my first touch. That's it. Like I just got into my first zones. It went straight down to that. It almost fucking to a T. And we DCA'd right before, right at, right underneath, right? We didn't get underneath it. We didn't get the last two, but we hit this to a T here. And again, I'm all about base hits from our position. And we absolutely did hit the bottom of this. So I can actually say that to where we are now today, you are in the most profitable position you could have ever been in if you were watching IBC Gang on any one of our freaking socials. Not financial, but if you're watching and you're doing what we were showing you here, like I did, you were up the most you've ever been in the past 282 days, and you're up over 28%. That I mean, you got to take profits though. None of it matters unless you're taking profits, right? I'm already out. Like I'm generally out. I'm sitting on free and clear assets now. I've taken my percent gains in fiat and stuff like that. I protected my initial investment, and now it's just like it's emotionless. I just sit back. It's amusing to me. Like this, okay. It's appreciating my investments that I have absolutely free and clear are in the most profitable position ever right now. It's such a great feeling. And plus, I added a percent to my overall bank that I use to invest in this index, right? Like, oh, it's such a great feeling, guys. Right now, though, like we are coming up to this next level of resistance. Again, perspective, we're not very far. Like, it's so amazing from where we are right now to all-time highs for the SP is 7 point, like under 8%. And same thing, like, what if we do a cup and handle here? Everybody and their mama is going to come out once that cup start or handle starts forming, is going to come out and try to like convince you and shake you out of that tree. If you're a strong monkey with strong hands, hold on. If you bought, like, I don't know what it, like, I'm not giving you financial advice, right? But like, if like, let's just say here again, I'm not trying to get exactly accurate, but let's go from this white line to here. This is where it, whatever it is, boom. That's our general cup there, and then we get our handle, right? Handle's got to be half the distance. Like, just, we're just eyeball, and this is going to be, let's just say that's going to be what it looks like here. If you bought from this line, which is about 41.6, if like I just be careful that you sell off into a loss down here, because like a lot of people will sell, and then right when you do that, it's gonna start turning around, and you're gonna fucking hate yourself. Be patient. Practice proper risk management. Don't overextend yourself. Don't use money that you can't sit on. Act like an investor, because these things, like, they don't necessarily repeat themselves, but they damn sure rhyme. And let me show you guys again. This is the S&P, totally different chart, right? But look at what happened back here. Same section, 2018, right? We cut down below the 200 SMA, below the 200 SMA. We rally massively over the 200 SMA, but then the 200 SMA has to come and get back tested on the daily time frame. It gets back tested, it hits it to a T, and then it takes off. And anybody that sold all of this and then saw this happen, hated life. Probably hated life. Like, just being real. So, but who knows? I could be wrong. I'm just saying stuff to think about, food for thought, right? Gotta be avid, like, as you're laddering in DCAing. Same could be true for profit taking. DCA your ass out. Like, that should be just as like a rule and something that you stick and live upon as it is as you DCA in. DCA out. Be a profit taker. Don't just spend money. Make money. Secure that money, right? So again, looking good. I could even get into market cipher B. We have, RSI is pointing upwards, positive money flow, green trigger buy dot, S&P. The NASDAQ is going to look like very similar, very high RSIs, money flow appreciating here with the Chartreuse money flow chart here, positive money flow. We're still way above these anchor sell pressure that's been down here. Like, all of these are anchors or sell pressure, still way above it. The Dow Jones, same thing. Trigger buy dot, RSI is pinching upwards. We have, everything looks fucking good. Everything looks good on the traditional markets. Fabulous. Does
that make sense with what we're seeing in the real world? I feel like things are not going great for
what? For who?
Everything. I mean, except for maybe like the military industrial complex.
Like, I'll be honest. Like, I was kind of talking about this, and like, I hate to.
I guess let me go way more broad. Let me go way more broad. Actually,
it looks
great.
Does
not feel like we are in a time of prosperity in the world right now.
No, it does not. Yeah. It does not. No, definitely does not. But money making, and then this is like, I preach this all the time. We were actually talking about this again the other day, about like how certain people feel versus like money making. I'll be honest, Amy. I said this this has been, and it's really weird because I've heard so many people say the same things. People DM me. I hear they're at a loss and it hurts and all this stuff. I've made so much money. And it's not me bragging, but I'm just being very honest. I've made so much money in what seems like, per everybody else's words, the worst time ever. But as an investor, that's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Is taking advantage
you can make
of
money no matter what's happening, with as long as shorting is a thing, right? I just meant not so much making money, just charts going up as a sign of economies doing well, businesses flourishing. Mm-hmm. Those two things don't seem to jive, reality and the charts. But no matter what, you make a great point,
right? Like, let's do this. Corona. You can't tell me. When we were going through Corona, man, I promise you, I've gone through some shit in my life like everybody else. But this did not feel like the promising economy either. But the charts sure as hell looked at it, right? That way. And that's kind of like in reverse what you're saying as well, right? Like, excuse me. That was the most, for as far as in making money and looking at charts, the best time of my life was Corona. Living through it, though, did not feel like the best time of my life. Like, it sucked. But like, again, we that's what we always talk about. Like the way that we perceive things, it's all about perception and stuff like that. And if you fancy yourself an investor, all emotions off, fuck feelings, fuck all this other stuff. To me, this has been a very profitable time, especially not so much crypto. The crypto has been weird, wonky, but traditional markets, legacy markets, fan fucking tastic to me. Going into that, Dow Jones, or no, sorry, DXY. I don't know why I'm so dyslexic. Anytime I see a D, I think of Dow Jones. DXY, we've
Too
been
many
calling
D's
this
in
for a
your
long
lifetime.
time. Yeah.
I had to.
Underneath 101, we've been calling for this range, 101.1, for a long, long time. Again, anybody, one of my haters, go back, watch over a year and a half. We've been trending this stuff. Stuff doesn't change. As an investor, again, this is going back into feelings and stuff like that, right? Like, I feel like we're in the start of a multiple year downtrend. Oops, sorry, you guys can see this. We're in the multiple year downtrend or the beginning of it. I could be wrong, but I think we're in the beginning of it. And where the DXY could possibly very much so reach all the way down to 59.43 on the charts. Insane, right? But it's not my opinion. It's the opinions of the charts. This is the monthly scale here. We have 5 to 8 year downtrends, a 5 year uptrend, 5 to 8 year downtrends, 5 year, exactly 5 year uptrends, multiple year downtrend. This from 2008 to where we are right now, recently.
And so, for everybody who's not aware, when did they start printing money out of thin air?
When they came out, what was it?
I think it's 2008, right?
Yeah.
Or six, somewhere in between there. When did quantitative easing start? Let me see.
That's a good, yeah, Google that.
Yeah, I am.
But so multiple year. This is the first time ever. Again, going back to, and this reasons why we have these things. Things don't necessarily believe themselves, but rhyme.
2008.
Yeah, there you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
I'm
First
going to
time
send you
ever.
another link to throw up on stream in a second too, but continue
Sure,
while I
sure.
find it.
And if you want to share your screen, definitely later on, I want you to share your screen and stuff like that. But
Yeah, no worries.
if things don't necessarily repeat themselves, but rhyme, guys, I'm banking because I don't know the future, right? But I'm banking on that being still true. We might be in the midst of the first time ever, the beginning of a multiple year downtrend, like a decade or more downtrend. And that could possibly lead us to, if you take all these measurements into account, to all the way down to 59. And what you're doing while you're in this downtrend, where the dollar is losing strength, purchasing power in the world, right? You want to be investing into things that could be protecting that value or appreciating it long term. You don't want a whole dollar, right? If it could possibly be in this downturn here. When it's in the downturn here, that's when you should be investing. Boom, 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 right? When it's in this upturn, that's when you should be doing the opposite. That's when you should be offloading your investments. Anyway, let me go into what, let me see here. Ooh, there we go. Let me share this.
So quantitative easing started in 2008, and then when COVID happened, they kicked it up a notch. So
yep.
to speak.
Dude, this is
scroll down so people know what we're looking at. This is a chart for all U.S. dollars outside of the U.S. Treasury, Federal Reserve banks, and the vault of depository institutions. So, like, I think this is M1, which is like the money supply, but including Eurodollar, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like, actually, wait, now I'm second guessing myself looking at it. But in general, it's the amount of billions
this is
of
the
dollars
M1
in circulation. Yeah. And so look what happened when COVID happened.
Let me bring this.
This is why I just don't. I know there's money to be made. Charts still work, but traditional markets are now as phony as crypto to me.
Dude, the traditional markets is the phoniest damn thing ever.
Yeah.
But it's fun as hell to make
Yeah.
money in. Like, that's when people like try to come at me about that stuff, like, oh, freaking, crypto is just a whatever, a scam. I'm like, are you serious with me right now? Are you serious with me? You're telling me, like, just, I know it's easier said than done, but like,
squeaky clean, huh?
Yeah, like, they could print dollars at will. That's insane. Like, there's nothing stopping.
That's like the one thing that even crypto people would call out. If you looked at a protocol and found a piece of code that said the admin could just mint more whenever they wanted.
We do call it out.
We do.
All
That's
the
one
time.
of the few things people actually. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like, wait, fuck that. What are you talking about? So yeah, like, again, just going back into like more things, kind of like lining up. stuff that it guys. I'm sorry, I'm not 99 booming. It takes me a long time. This is like my whole spiel. It's boring as hell. I don't have clickbait stuff or like do reviews a lot of times, even though we're gonna view ICI. Um, I do the boring charts, and it takes me a year or more to be able to finally say, see, like we were pointing this stuff out for a long time. You got to be a fundamentalist. You got to be a long term, bigger time frame viewer of things. Like fundamentally, what's happening right now is remarkable. It's scary as hell, but it's also very remarkable and very interesting as far as the economy goes on a global scale, on a larger macro scale. Um, Again, DXY, I think like it's only a matter of time until we come back down to this zone range of support that we've been trending in, right? This is the lower level of support here, which is right around, I don't know where it's going to be, but it's right around 94 for the DXY. And then if that doesn't hold up, if seriously, if it doesn't hold up, guys, we are going to go for that roller coaster ride down, and it's going to be a fucking fabulous time for myself, at least. I'll tell you right now. I don't know about you guys, but it's going to be a fantastic time for me as far as investing goes. I'm going to absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I've been waiting for injured sheeps to be crossing my path, and I'm going to eat so well. Um, but anyway, let's get off of that. Let's get into Bitcoin, and then I want to go and talk to Timmy about ICI. I'm so bullish about this. Bitcoin is up. You would think a little bit more, but it's up 0.4%. Let me go back to the daily here. Reset everything. Oh, sorry. Let me go to monthly here. This is my log chart. And no, it's not. Wait. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is not my log chart. This chart right here is my halving chart on the logarithmic scale to show you guys we are in a recovery phase of sorts, or I like to call it the anticipation phase. Again, I don't like, Timmy, I don't know about you. Are you getting sick and tired of when people label, like, especially for Bitcoin and crypto, like bull market, bear market? I hate those labels. I think there's only like true, like we should just stick with true appreciation, depreciation, and anticipation, because there's only those three phases in any cycle. It doesn't matter for the time being, at least until things really do change and mature. But we have
I get why it's done. Like it kind of helps to
it's
simplify and
emotional based.
categorize it. I think that's where it comes from. But then people stick with it because it's somewhat a helpful tool to like give context for the general situation you're in. But it's so not black and white. I completely agree.
Yeah. So because like when you think, yeah, so that's a great point. So like when you say bull market, it's misleading because people think like there's very slim chance of having depreciation on the charts.
Yeah.
Like it's like nothing but up and stuff like that, especially with what people are getting accustomed to recently over the past decade or so. And then when you go bear market, they go like people are just out. Like money leaves because they think, oh, it's just a slippery slide of death. There's never going to be an opportunity in a bear market, when that is not the case, as we just saw, which should be a really shitty time. Like I've made a lot of great money in the regular legacy market, and there's opportunities to be had in the bear market as well. There's still appreciating prices on certain levels of support throughout a bear market. Now you can still trade and play that, right? That's not really like, as an investor, you're wanting to accumulate in the bear market, so maybe you're making positions, but traders make a lot of fucking money. Like you said, they're shorting. There's longing in the as well in the bear market as well. So like I just don't like when people use those terms, because it gives these false emotional feelings that people set into their minds. And that's really when that happens, guys. Again, when you get your emotions tied up in investing, that's when you don't do well. That's when you start thinking you understand things. And the more you know that you don't understand things, the better you're going to be. Like, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. So I don't even like to think of it as bull, bear, crab market, like the new term that they came up with. It's simply, to me, appreciation phase, depreciation phase, and anticipation phase. All of them, to me, have opportunity. But I guess, I mean, again, as I'm saying that, I guess it all depends on the person. You could rewire that in your brain to still understand that there's opportunities in a bear, bull, or crab market. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't, that's just me though. But yeah, so we're in this phase right now, and see Chicken Taco say, I think there might be a dip. I think things don't necessarily repeat themselves, but rhyme. I think you're absolutely right. We could be in this appreciation or this anticipation phase right here, and we still could see that little bit of a dip coming back down to the lower level of that box for this current anticipation phase, and that's going to be scary, right? Like if we actually see that little bit of a dip and it comes down close to 17 or whatever, or even this lower range, which I have about 15 or so on the anticipation phase, and then recover. Like again, everybody and their mama that's bearish is going to come out here and try to feed you that narrative, try to feed you that scared emotional response that they're looking for. But generally, I'm just saying, generally, it's just the facts of the matter. The past two cycles, even throughout any time, if you are getting in with a proper DCA strategy, not over risking yourself, practicing proper risk management during the anticipation phase of the halving, right? You front ran their appreciation phase, or AKA bull market, and you did really freaking well, right? So it didn't matter. Even anytime anybody got in on this time frame here or through here, it didn't matter because when price action really ran, you front ran all of it. So again, just I like to look at things like that. Like, yeah, we could see some depreciation. We could still see some volatility. We're going to see some FUD. We're going to see some pain. Sure. But if things don't necessarily repeat themselves but rhyme, the past two, not counting the first because the first wasn't actually a pattern yet, but the past two tells me and leads me to believe, just off the fundamentals and just off what's happening out there with other countries adopting crypto technology and Bitcoin, that there's still a very high likelihood that I'm still front running by getting into the position on Bitcoin specifically, that I'm front running the appreciation phase or bull market phase after the halving comes. And I did want to put a little caveat on this. As we stair step our way up in these cycles, right? Every halving, we do lose the potential for massive gains. It becomes harder and harder to push the price up. It's harder and harder to find those 1,000 X's percent wise on the, I'm sorry, 1,000% gains on the chart, not X's, 1,000% gains on the charts, because we need more and more liquidity to move the price, right? So again, it's really easy to see this here. Like we have these huge stair stepping movements like this, but then they get shortened every single time as you climb, right? But I'm thinking right now, guys, that at best, my conservative thought and prediction would be that we, from the halving, are going to appreciate about 123% from our previous high, and that's going to give us about 143 at best. And we might not even get there, but at best, if we do well in this next halving, we might see $143,000 Bitcoin. But that's like being very optimistic. I think if we get above our previous all-time high, 80 to 100K, that's still great. That's still absolutely great. And I'll take that all day long from where we are right now. But if anybody's trying to feed you this hopium that we're going to $500,000 or $1 million Bitcoin, you're full of shit. Stop watching them. They're absolutely crazy. That means the whole fucking world has to adopt Bitcoin and get into it.
No, we Bitcoin will be worth $1 million one day,
But
for
not in the
sure.
next halving.
Oh yeah, right,
Yeah,
and
that's
it
what I'm
won't be
saying.
because of Bitcoin's rise. It'll be because a bottle of water costs $100.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot. I'm specifically saying because there's some
nuance
knuckleheads
here.
that are like, no, the next having $500,000 Bitcoin or $1 million. You're fucking insane.
Anybody who can't see the slowing in growth, just like at a glance, even, is someone you probably should not listen to in any capacity.
For sure. For sure. Um, Hold on 1 second. Timmy, take my son's knocking on the door. Actually, I'm gonna have him come in here. What's up, son? Come on. You're
Yes.
live on stream. What you want? He's telling me, hurry up, interview your friend and shut up. They're downstairs. They're telling me to hurry up, guys. I know I'm ranting. I'm ranting a lot. Let's actually fly through this, Timmy, if you don't mind. Fly through the Cosmos ecosystem with me and the rest of the crypto space real quickly, and then I
Yeah.
do want to give you a good amount of time to talk about ICI because it's launching today, right? If you guys don't know ICI, it's Interchain Info. It's been something that he's been working on for a long, long time. I've been really super excited about this project that Timmy's been working on since, God, fuck, how long has it been, Timmy?
It's been over a year now, at least from
Yeah,
inception of the idea.
I still remember when you messaged me. I think I was at my in-laws' house in Ohio, and I was like, "Bro, I love that idea." like hell yeah, that was a while ago, bro.
It's just so simple, right? It's like
So simple, but it's taking so
also
long. But
loving chicken tacos in the chat all day today.
oh, chicken tacos is the man.
Number
Chicken
one.
tacos is the man, dude. But yeah, let's go through it real quickly. Ethereum, what do you think about Ethereum, man?
Bullish on Ethereum. I have all of my credit card rewards going to Ethereum.
Nice,
That's one of the ways I kind of DCA on the side.
nice. It's almost 1900 again, up 0.84% today, guys, which is basically 15,
Yeah,
$16. So, Adam, what do you think about Adam? I know this is kind of
I think it has a.
being in the Cosmos
I'm
ecosystem. I feel
very
like
up
I
in
always
the
walk
air.
on eggshells when I ask people this because
It's
we're
very up
all
in
like,
the air. I think unlike a lot of other coins in the ecosystem, it has more backing, more people working on it, more big money sort of attached to it, fueling it, which
Mhm.
is all good things. But I think it, more than any other chain in the cosmos, is sort of at risk of failure should the general cosmos thesis fail, right? Like it's
Mhm.
sort of, and not even the general concept of an interchain, but like one of the things that attracted me to Cosmos is that the idea of Cosmos could exist even if the hub shut down and stopped working. You know, it's not like crucial to it. And so I always keep that in the back of my mind. Like that's why Interchain info is called Interchain info, not Cosmos info.
Yeah.
So I think Atom has a lot of potential to rebound and possibly even like see new all-time highs eventually in the next 5-10 years. But I also don't think that's definite in any way.
I absolutely love what you just said right there. Possibly able to see all-time highs in the next 5 to 10 years. That's a realistic stance on the price action for Atom and the potential that it has in the future. There's a lot of people that are expecting this next like
Cycle
cycle to be $100 because of that article and because of like other
could that
yeah
this is
anything right
crypto. Anything like
right
that can happen. You're not wrong, but do not bank on it. Do not make
yeah
any financially dangerous choices assuming that like okay, let's take a look. When Atom was okay, so first off, there's a lot more Atom in existence now than when it was at $44, which would
hmm
make its circulating market cap way higher. But
hmm
even back then, when it was at $44, um, I'm just going to pull a number out of my ass. Let's pretend the market cap at that point was $1 billion, just round whatever. Does someone want to explain to me why Cosmos, the token Atom, is worth $1 billion, and
yeah.
why? And once you answer that, then I would listen to why we might get back up to that price next.
Well, there was a lot of fundamental things actually happening for the general Cosmos ecosystem. Along with that, right? Like a lot of people don't understand this, but IBC is fairly a baby still. Like the whole inter blockchain communication protocol, while it seems like forever, it really because crypto ages you like that, right? Like a fucking what was that one movie with what's his face in it, where it's like a day there is like 10 years in real life or whatever. It's so fucking true though.
Yeah.
With
Yep.
all of not just Cosmos, but all of
Yep.
crypto, definitely fucking feels like that. But like and I don't know the exact times, but like IBC and that functionality and everything actually when you look at like osmosis and all this other stuff like all of that anticipation phase was also like kind of going through like that's when all of this stuff was getting worked on developed. Like, there was a lot of bullish sentiment, bullish narrative, hopeful things coming out during that time that unfortunately now we know and we've gone through our lumps and bruises and we're like figuring shit out. But like is it's not the case. Like right now we got to find the narrative because it's all about it's always going to be about two things, guys, with crypto: liquidity and narrative. And then, well, I guess three things, and then usability, right? Like without those, you can't scale. It's literally that's you need to have a strong narrative, you need to have utility, and you need to have liquidity. You need to have people like wanting to invest in that shit. Um, or exposure to gain or play with the liquidity or whatnot. Anyway, so going through this whole part of 2020, 2021, when things were really looking great for the Atom chart and stuff like that. Like basically right here, 2020 and stuff like that, right? Like that's a lot of that stuff was getting worked on, but now like we're figuring out with all the great hopeful things that we were so hopeful with. Like I still remember as clear as possible, like the hopium and like the narrative and everybody being. I mean, there was no drama except it felt like in Cosmos. Everybody that you hear from and that are sick and tired of hearing from nowadays was holding hands together, like singing that Michael Jackson
Yeah.
song, and it was fucking great, dude. I so wish sometimes that we could go back to that, but I also live in reality and know that that's probably never going to happen again. But it was fucking tastic back then in Cosmos. That's not the case. And so what Timmy's saying, 5 to 10 years, like we're figuring out how to use governance. We're figuring out how to use IBC. We're figuring out how to get access into, which it's happening slowly, but we're figuring out how to pull from Ethereum, how to pull from Polkadot, how to pull from Avalanche. We're trying to figure out, and now with Babylon, trying to figure out how to expose ourselves or proof of stake chains to security with Bitcoin, with Babylon. Like we're figuring this shit out. And as we do, there's going to be a lot of rough times. But again, if you invested into Cosmos for the same reason I did, which was interoperability, amongst all, like I kind of knew that getting into it. So I think 5 to 10 years is a great point and a great time lane that you put out there for all-time highs. I would love to see it happen sooner than rather than later. Everybody would, right? Like, fuck, give me a $50 Bitcoin again, please.
But see, even that time estimate, that depends a lot on what happens with the future tokenomics of Atom. Because like the whole Atom 2.0 thing or whatever might come as the actual like when I said that 5 to 10 range, just off the top of my head, pulling it out of my ass, I was purely thinking just time for the network to gain that much actual value, for faith to come back, money to flow in, blah blah blah. But what I didn't actually consider is something I mentioned not a minute earlier is in 5 to 10 years, there's going to be a hell of a lot more Atom in circulation. So suddenly, if we want to be at that $44 price range, we now better expect to be able to justify a multi-billion-dollar valuation.
How much Atom is being staked? Like, dude, I saw somebody. God, I swear, I say I'm going to do things fast, but there's so much things to always talk about with Cosmos. This is like the bane of being a Cosmos content creator, like especially when you talk about fundamentals all the time and try to have realistic conversations that are in depth thoughts, right? Like, there's so much nuances and so much like caveats that you have to attach onto things. I saw somebody posting about the Atom Accelerator DAO and just basically the position of where Atom is, kind of like what we're talking about now, like how much is out there, what's being staked, what's the inflation versus staking reward, all this other stuff. Is it like actually what's mint scan right now? What is Atom at right now as far as total being staked? Somebody comes up with this faster than I do, please just let me know.
I'm multitasking here, getting some ICI ready, so you're on your own.
Yeah. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? I got it. I got it right here. Hold on. I got it right here. I got it right here, guys. This could be off a little bit because everybody has. It's funny too. It's all depending on where you're pulling your data from. It's always a little bit off. So the percent staked here, and we're gonna use Smart Stake Analytics just because I like their UI their setup here. Let me show you guys. Oh wait, does it capture Brave browser? I don't think this does capture Brave browser. Son of a bitch. It should.
Just share your whole screen instead of a specific app.
Oh yeah, I guess it could do that. Yeah. Boom. So Smart Stake Analytics right here. You can see the staking APR, APY is 21.36 and 23.8. The percent staked is 75.3. That's crazy to me. That's still like when you.
I wish we could see a chart for that because I'd wonder how much of an uptick came around with Stride.
I see. I should put that. I'm gonna put that pressure on you, Timmy. I should.
Yeah, that'd be a great dashboard module, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering how much Stride has had an effect on that number. Another like
it does have a big effect because again, talking about Atom Accelerator DAO, and you saw a lot of people talking about that, right? Like, and I got, oh, God bless. We could go on and on and on about stuff, but like Atom, et cetera, Dal, you saw what they did with their treasury, and they're kind of like they just recently were saying that they're diversifying by liquid staking a lot of their Atom, a certain percent of it, and also doing all this other stuff. And like, oh fuck, that's we should do a different stream for a different time for that conversation. But anyway, yeah. But I bet you there is a lot to do with liquid staking derivatives as far as Atom goes. Like, I'm telling you, freaking Stride is going to be. People don't know it, but we're feeling the effects of like a changing ecosystem when it comes to Cosmos because of liquid staking derivatives now being introduced over the past few months, almost half a year, or whatever it was. Anyway, what's up, Kit? Says 70. It could be different. Like I said, it could be different. If I'm pulling it off Smart Stake versus other places, they're always a little bit different. But that's just be a Smart Stake. Anyway, let's quickly go through this because you're here. I don't want to talk to you about ICI. So
No
Adam,
worries.
yeah,
I'm actually getting stuff set still.
okay. So Adam right now up 0.38%. Honestly, I'm being very honest again.
Oh, actually, Tank, I'm gonna drop out for a moment. I
Sure,
think it's that time, and when I return, hopefully we'll be ready.
sure. Okay. Um, Adam up right now, guys. Just a little bit, right? Like 9.23. Again, I've told you guys so many times before. I'm not actually interested in this. This is just my personal opinion. Um, 750, 615, 460, and even 80 cents. So like, man, I'm just being honest with you guys. That's just what it is. It has to get above this resistance line that's been holding us as resistance here. We're still not over that. Like it is what it is. Secret's up 2.34%, trading at 40 cents here. Has a long way to go. But yeah, it's a lot. I know a lot of people who bought the bottom over here at 28 cents might be really, really happy. I know a lot of people have been dipping into Shade or Silk. I personally haven't been dabbling all too much, but shout outs to Secret Network, Secret Community. I've been saying for a long time, I'd like to have some add-ons or some secret agents come and really, really explain to me as an investor why specifically. I'm interested in things in the Secret Network, but I'm just not like, as far as fundamental goes, like, why would I invest in this secret token? You've been Kanye West? You thought he was an angel? I thought it was a. Oh, you thought you thought his background. It's just so funny. That's so funny. Um, yeah, no, like again, I'm just saying like, and I'm not trying to fud it, but like if I go and take a look at well, hell, I think we could do that right now too. If we go to where's Secret on here? Is Secret on here? Do they have Secret on here? No, no Secret on Smart Stake Analytics. No, I guess not. Let me check the hub. What is the numbers and stuff like that on the? Here we go. Secret. There's a lot of white background here, guys. Can we not get dark mode on this, please? Like the staking APR per mint scan is 24.57. The inflation is at 15%. I mean, so like it's not bad, but at the same time, like I still like what is going to drive up the secret price? It's because it's a secret, I know, right? I'm like I just want to know like what is the huge use case that's going to drive up the secret price? Quorium? 10 cents every other day. Calc, yeah, dude, I like that. Get you some Corium while cheap. I have to think about that. Juno up 3.29% on the day. Really interesting. I wonder if this was, you know what this was? I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. I wonder if this was uh IBC gang buying Juno to send to full transparency for the NFT Nashville. We paid one of our hell, I'll just tell you because all of it's transparent anyway. If you guys want to ask, um, we paid for our marketing and our or like our branding and our web hosting and stuff like that. We're using Signal, and he wanted to take it in Juno, and so we bought Juno the other day, and I wonder if that had anything to do with this little bit of a pump. I don't think so, but let's go take a look. Let's go take a look. Let's go to osmosis real quick. So over the past 24 hours, we had a little bit to do with this. There's been $85,000, a little bit over 85.5 volume change over the past 24 hours. That volume change is over 140%. Interesting. The total liquidity, though, is still under a mil. It's at 924,000. We'd really like to see that liquidity get back up to a mil. The market cap is 21 mil, 21, basically 22. But yeah, I like 23. This is on the 11th. Yeah, so this was probably one of these candles was probably us buying a few thousand and paying off for marketing and stuff like that, guys. It probably was. Fuckers. Anyway, you go Juno, go, right? Go Juno, go, please. By the way, I do want to say this. This is just again, but I promise you guys. This is huge, by the way. This is even bigger. And by the way, I'd like to get some of you guys that are in chat on this call as well to talk about this. But I'm telling you right now, Balance DAO is fully functioning now for Juno. It is a swap feature to help balance the social and financial stability for the Juno ecosystem, the Juno community, the Juno network, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, as it sits right now, 15 point, like if you were to swap 20 Juno to balance, you'd get 2.26 and some change. 15.6 Juno will be burnt. 2.4 Juno will be sent to the dev fund, which we need to take an election-based kind of like position and have that process happen to bring on multi-sig members throughout the community, right? This is a community-controlled multi-sig that it's going to get sent to for a development fund. So we can start banking a development fund for Juno for people to tap into, developers or whatnot, right? We don't have to be, again, we don't have to be subject to validators or core members or anything like that. This sidesteps everything. We don't have to do this. It's just us taking control of our own fate. But it'll start funding a general development fund controlled by the community members. Two Juno will be vested out of that developer fund. And then those rewards, here's the kicker, it doesn't show all of this. Those rewards get rinsed or repeated into that whole thing. We'll take those rewards from the vested staked Juno for the developer fund, right? It'll go into balance, and that will start feeding into a balance multi-sig wallet for development based and held with balance token, also controlled by a multi-sig wallet via community members. Again, doing this organically, no benefit for myself. All benefits to the Juno community, Juno ecosystem. It will behoove validators, core members, developers, and everybody that wants to actually see this actually have a chance. I'll get into that in a little bit, though. It's there. I promise you. Like, if you guys don't think so, we've made the multi-sig wallets. Now it's in a holding pattern because we got to find people who are willing to be multi-sig participants, members. Anyway, let me move on. Taking a look at osmosis again. Let's see if we can find any outliers. Secret network doing pretty well. Neta up 3.34%. Pretty crazy. Kuji down 2.1%. Shout outs to Kuji though. We don't even talk about Roman Swift Chain. They can die to me. And I don't know why everybody gave that guy a pass, by the way. I know, like, it's so funny. Nobody even talks about him anymore. Injective up 1.45%. Let me go here. Nolus up 5.66. We're one of the first people to have Nolus on as far as an interview goes. So 9090 boo boo, stick your head and doo. Really like their lease program that they have. Jackal up 3.85. Sommelier up 11.41. Pretty interesting. Kudos up a little bit. Let me see here. Umi up 0.85%. Chihuahua up 1.53% as well. IBC not enabled for quorum. Yeah, I didn't think it was. Comdex up 3.3. Let me see here. I want to see isn't Archway on here too now? I think they have such a small. Hold on. Yeah, Archway token down. What did I say? Wait. Arch price change is down 5.27%. It's at 14 cents, guys. It's at 14 cents. Total liquidity is only $15,000 on osmosis. So be careful. Be careful. Yeah. Whew. Tis not time. Tis not time. I don't see Timmy again, and unfortunately, I do have to get running here soon. Let me just send him a message. Let me show you guys though, if I can bring up ICI, what he's working on. This is Interchain info. This is insane, and this is coming out today. This is coming out today. This is an index resource. This is a place of resource for everybody within the greater Cosmos ecosystem to pull from. The dashboard's not going to be focusing while he's losing. He can talk tomorrow while he's losing. I might do another one later on today just because I'm super excited for him. That's why. But unfortunately, I do have to get going because I can hear my kids killing themselves downstairs or just like fighting each other or whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. This is not the actual version, guys. This is the beta version that I was privileged to take a look at. So please don't hold anything to this. But this is like, guys, if you guys want to see what's happening, like take a look at this, guys. 38 different pages for wallets, NFT projects, 58 pages, creators and education, 66 pages, bridges, blockchains, DeFi, 136 pages. You guys go into creators here. You can see that we should be here somewhere. Cosmos Joe there. Where the hell am I? DeFi Times, exploring the cosmos. It's an alphabetical order, so I'm not going to be here. It's going to be like IBC gang somewhere else. Oh, I'm so far. IBC gang right here again. So like, dude, guys, a one-stop shop for like information. Information is so valuable, and I think what he's doing like is one of the most important projects right now as far as helping introduce mass adoption and more liquidity into the space. We need more things like this. And Interchain IPO looks absolutely fantastic from the beta, guys. I can't wait to actually have him and talk about it while everything's live. It's going to be happening today. Unfortunately, I have to run. I really appreciate all of you guys stopping in today and listening to me rant. Again, if you guys haven't, do me a favor, do everybody a favor. Check us out on YouTube, IBC Gang. Subscribe there, follow us there. It really help out quite a bit. Check us out on Twitch. Again, if you guys want to be part of Community Game Day, you guys have to be part of Twitch. Again, it doesn't take you any time at all. Costs you absolutely nothing to sign up for these platforms. But it's IBC_gang there. Check us out on Twitter. Obviously, I'm streaming. Follow me. You can also find us IBC_gang there. We try to give you guys food for thought, valuable information. We try to host the conversations that are real, right? The things that I think are valuable and mean a lot within this space. None of it financial advice, just food for thought for you guys to digest. Hopefully it helps you in your trading or investing career. I absolutely love you guys so much. Thank you guys for always being supportive. Yeah, I got to get out of here though. Peace. Later, guys. Oh, hold on. Let me give you guys over to my Twitch. I think my twin brother is streaming on Twitch. So let me rate him first. Let me rate him first. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, he's streaming. Streaming Fortnite. Look at him playing Fortnite. Like a loser. Stop playing Fortnite. Play Diablo. Or Tarkov. Dang it. Nah. Love my twin brother, guys. Check him out. Show him that love. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Peace.